Like a lot of people, Cartoon Network was a huge part of my childhood. It really helped to define the kinds of shows that I liked, and it gave me an appreciation for animation as a medium. Much like any other channel, the content makes or breaks it. But before a show can become a show, it goes through a process of being pitched to the network in hopes that it will eventually become picked up as a series. A majority of these pitches use pilots, animated shorts used to demonstrate what the show might be like before it actually enters production. They establish the tone and feeling of a cartoon to sell to network executives who are generally extremely intelligent and have really good taste. Just kidding. This is the way it's always been done, and it's given us some of Cartoon Network's most iconic shows. The years from around 2007 to 2014 are what I like to call CN's edgy phase. This was when they aired more mature, in quotes, more edgy cartoons. The type of weird stuff that appealed to teenagers and adults who may or may not be on drugs. Oh, and 12-year-olds like me that thought they were grown up for watching stuff like it. Cartoon Network has always been kind of edgy, well, used to be, but this was something completely different. So what did these two things, cartoon pilots and edgy phases, have to do with each other? Well, let me explain. The network was going through huge changes as their golden years were far behind them. The new shows, while doing fine enough, weren't nearly as popular as what came before. And in an attempt to inject some new life into the channel, an idea was created heavily inspired by what came before. That being the What a Cartoon show, the anthology show created by Hanna-Barbera, which was basically proto-Cartoon Network at this point, that hosted shorts from a variety of creators, some of which ended up becoming some of the first cartoons on Cartoon Network. They took this general idea and basically just did it again. This became the Cartoonstitute. The Cartoonstitute was created by CNN executive Rob Sorcher, Craig McCracken, creator of the Powerpuff Girls, and Rob Renzetti, the creator of My Life as a Teenage Robot, as an initiative to pitch shorts and ideas without the interference of network executives and ineffective corporate mandates like focus testing or advertisers. Basically letting creators be creators. And it showed a lot of promise.
The way we ran Cartoonstitute is we'd go after artists that we thought had potential to make a show, said, do you have an idea? They'd pitch us an idea, and Rob and I would go to a storyboard. Go to a storyboard and come pitch the storyboard. You know, we sort of thought like, it's like American Idol. Yeah. You come in and you perform and you sell your cartoon, you sell your idea and you sell it to a room of executives. And then what we would do is after they would leave the room, we would get together with the one executive and the kind of brain trust of artists going, do we want to make this one or do we not want to make this one? And if we wanted to make it, we said, you got a short. It like happened immediately, which is what a cartoon was like. It was, you know, for all of us to get those shorts, we all had to just do a board. We had to do a board and go and pitch it to the network, the executives from Atlanta. And if they liked what they did, we made the cartoon.
But there's a reason why you've probably never heard of the Cartoonstitute. And that's because the project was abandoned, left incomplete, and never aired on TV. The Cartoonstitute's failure was the thing that broke up the group of creatives that worked there since the 90s, and it brought the channel's silver age of the early 2000s to an end. Add on top of that the cancellation of cartoons like Chowder, the 2008 economic recession causing the creation of live-action trash like CN Rail to save money in comparison to the high cost of animation production, the 2007 Boston bomb scare that got the general manager of CN to resign, creatives at CN Studios getting fired left and right, and it's easy to see what went wrong. The shorts themselves were uploaded to YouTube on September 26, 2009, possibly by a disgruntled Cartoon Network employee, and then immediately removed afterwards, but by this point it was too late. Mirrored copies popped up, and this became something Cartoon Network couldn't pretend didn't exist anymore. Cartoon Network decided to upload the shorts on their video on demand service in full HD. And so today, I'm gonna take a retrospective look at every single short. This is the Cartoonstitute. For this video, the shorts are going to be looked at as they are, even though I admit that's kind of unfair because the show can change drastically from a pilot to the final product, but for these shorts, we don't know what they would have been like if they were greenlit and produced, and these are all that we have. I'll talk about each one without giving away too much like jokes and stuff considering how short they are. Some of them are actually pretty good and you should check them out. The first short is Spleenstab. This one is about a barbarian who looks like Conan and wants to make friends.
By the great ones but die, I will know the ways of friend making!
There's some elves, a talking tree, and a leprechaun. Overall, it's okay. The characters are fine enough if sort of been there, done that. This was created by a guy named Mike Bell, and I can't find much information about him other than his IMDb page. He's mostly a voice actor, writer, and animation director who's worked on a decent amount of shows for Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Something to note about the Cartoonstitute shorts is that none of them have end credits. At all. That means that outside of the creator names and voice actors that I recognize, the identities of the people involved with these shorts is unknown. Okay, next short is Meddlen Meddows by Chris Riccardi. Meet Baculus, an intergalactic salesman who crash lands on an alien planet with these primal savages here.
Friends, I'm here to introduce primitive folks such as yourselves to the joys of technology.
And shenanigans ensue.
You mean you isn't sent by the great wizards?
Nope.
What about the holy Nooba-Baba-Nagafist of the Googabas?
Think again.
The great Chomahongagus?
Double negative, partner. I simply... What?
There's a giant monster, sounds familiar. And in the end, Bagulus is stuck, marooned on the planet forever because this didn't get picked up. I really like the art style for this one though. I wish they could have made the other aliens more interesting, and you know, something about the main character really gives me Ren from Ren and Stimpy vibes. The thing is, it should, because the creator of this particular short was Chris Riccardi, an industry legend who worked on a wide variety of stuff as a director, storyboard artist, and a writer for over 3 decades, including Ren and Stimpy, a bunch of other cartoons that I've already discussed in this video, and 2 other pilots that weren't greenlit, Imp Inc. for Cartoon Network and The Modifiers for Nickelodeon. His list of credits is all over the place in a good way. Unfortunately, Chris Riccardi passed away in 2019, but the work he left behind will continue to live on. It's a shame that he worked on so many cartoons back in the day, yet never got to make one himself, but I'm glad he was able to at least give us what he did, and he was a great artist in his own right. Up next is Maruined. This one reminds me of Meddlen Meddows. It's about a boy and a girl, one a thug gangster wannabe and another a stereotypical teenage girl voiced by Gray Delise.
Ow! You've like totally chafed my finger with that sandpaper!
AKA Azula from Avatar, or if you prefer, Daphne from Scooby-Doo. I like both. They get stranded on a strange tropical island. They run into this weird elephant thing, fight a giant monster. I'm seeing a trend, and that's about it for this one. The thing that gets me about this one is that the brother and sister are annoying, but not in an entertaining way. Like, to the point where you don't want to watch them or anything, and they're just screaming stuff the whole time.
You're like a bad buzzer around bothering everybody.
It's a shame this one isn't very good in my opinion. This short was created by the one and only Genny Tartakovsky. And do I really need to explain what he's done? He's made some of my favorite cartoons, period. Maybe if they did something to make these characters more entertaining and maybe make it a little funnier, then it could have worked. But for now, I can see why he hasn't done anything else with it. Next is Danger Planet. It's about an arcade machine with a body count.
How'd that happen?
Named Danger Planet in space, who, along with the forklift, end up getting discontinued by the Space Factory. You know the Space Factory? They make a run for Earth on a spaceship, find a human baby on said spaceship. Eventually, after crash landing on a strange planet, sounds familiar, they end up contacting a human astronaut who wants to save the baby from these inept robots.
Do you have anything important?
Well, I am a Danger Planet arcade game.
Weren't you discontinued? Good luck with that! Huh? Wait, did you say baby?
Yes, I did! A baby human!
And they get attacked by an alien that reminds me of The Thing. So what do I like about this one? Well, firstly, the voice acting is pretty good. Danger Planet is voiced by Master Shake himself, Dana Snyder, and the robot forklift sounds like Tom Kenny to me.
Where is it?
Don't know. I never saw a human either. But it's here somewhere.
The premise is funny and there's some pretty good jokes here. The fact that they don't know what a human is, let alone what it looks like, yet they're trying their hardest to take care of it is hilarious.
Humans
Yes?
are
Yes?
people.
Of course!
This show was created by Derek Dryman, another Nickelodeon veteran most known for his work on SpongeBob SquarePants, Rocko's Modern Life, and Cat Dog. He became executive producer on Adventure Time after the Cartoonstitute failed. Currently, he works at DreamWorks Animation, which technically still exists. And he created another short that we'll check out soon. I just found out like not too long ago, but apparently Craig McCracken also did some of the character designs for this short. I managed to find this whole blog spot with a whole bunch of stuff from the show, including model sheets, finished backgrounds, and concept art. And I just love this stuff. Interestingly enough, this is one of the few shorts to get uploaded to YouTube by Cartoon Network almost 10 years later in 2017. But for some unknown reason, the version uploaded has really screwed up colors. I'm not sure how or why this happened because the VOD version looks fine, meaning that someone intentionally or unintentionally messed with the video, didn't notice and put it on YouTube, and nobody else noticed either. It's pretty strange. I think out of all the shorts, not just the ones we've seen so far, this one deserved to make it to series. I like the premise, I like the characters, it actually made me laugh. Overall, it's enjoyable. The short was left open-ended, so we could imagine what sorts of adventures these characters would have babysitting on a dangerous planet. Hey, the title makes sense now. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Alright, up next is Baloobaloo's Fun Park. That is definitely a name, and this is the fun park. It's not doing too well, and their main event, Baloobaloob, which is this guy, isn't making money anymore. So Andy and Jeff, wanting to keep their minimum wage jobs, help Baloobaloob find something that will inject some life into the park by traveling into the pocket dimension in his fridge.
What is it from your world that excites you? That's not quite what I had in mind.
Makes sense. This is another fine short, I would say. It's decently enjoyable, the art style is wacky and weird, and it works well. Loob is a weird cheeseburger-headed thing and seems friendly enough. For some reason, Andy and Jeff kind of remind me of Mario and Luigi. I don't know why. The creator of this short is Aaron Springer.
Aaron Springer is a cartoon genius.
A Cartoon Network alumni who's most well known for working on shows like Dexter's Lab, Billy and Mandy, Samurai Jack, Gravity Falls, and Wander Over Yonder as a writer/storyboard artist. Springer also boarded and wrote a good amount of episodes for, you guessed it, SpongeBob SquarePants, including Band Geeks, often considered one of the best SpongeBob episodes of all time. On top of creating Periwinkle Around the World for Cartoon Network, and the legendary cult pilot Kogarth of Barbaria, another really good pilot pitched to Adult Swim that they refused to greenlight, apparently because it was too expensive, yet they kept airing it over and over again, but that's a topic for another video. Maybe. Nowadays he's over at Disney Animation, where he created Billy Dilly's Super Duper Subterranean Summer, and unlike everything else he's made, it actually got picked up for a series. For an entire 12 days. This guy cannot catch a break, huh?
Goodbye, Baloobaloob. Goodbye, Fun Park. Goodbye, having a job. Goodbye.
Hey, Andy, quick, give me a quarter.
Can I have a quarter? Everything is going down in flames, and all you can say is, can I have a quarter?
But yeah, the fun part's good. The Awesome Chronicles of Manny and Con. So this one is about a German leprechaun and a platypus. Contrary to that single sentence, this one's actually pretty boring. It's a long 7 minutes where none of the jokes land and nothing fun really happens. It's just them playing ball or something, and the backgrounds look like Hallmark cards. It kind of reminds me of Regular Show, but at least Regular Show felt impactful because meaningful things were happening. This was apparently made by two guys named Josh and Joey. According to Wikipedia, they're Josh Lieberman and Joey Giordana. Two guys I can't find much of anything about apart from two barren IMDb pages. Would it surprise you to know that these guys never had any experience in creative animation production before this short? And that's all I have to say. Next. Stockboys of the Apocalypse. So this one's about these two guys named Dude and Buddy. Seriously, that's their names.
I've been thinking of quitting anyway, buddy.
Dude, what about the pact we made?
Dude, when we grow up, let's make a career at the Hungry Woogly.
Okay, buddy.
They work at a crappy Walmart-like department store, and Buddy here is off his meds. That's seriously what they say, I'm not making it up.
He must be off his medication.
And invents time travel. I think the time travel is actually kind of cool. Instead of a type of machine or a car, what happens is Dude climbs through the cardboard box tunnel, but the end is too small, so only his head fits through, and Buddy gives him a robot body made out of random things from inside the store. I really like off-the-wall stuff like this. So how is Stockboys of the Apocalypse? I like how the world is a total nightmare filled with zombies, or mutants. The sheer amount of pixels in the video make it hard to tell exactly what they're supposed to be, and it has that edgier vibe Cartoon Network was going for. This short was also by Derek Dryman. Stockboys and Danger Planet do sort of have that same style and tone when I think about it, though this one is flash animated instead of traditional. Overall, it's not bad. I do wonder where the show would have went if it got greenlit though. If it would have been episodic or somehow told a story, or both. Oh well, we'll never know. The Borneos. This one is about a circus family or whatever. The Borneos was created by a guy named Chris Staples, and according to his IMDb page, he mostly worked on animation departments for various studios until around 2011. The short is so unremarkable, I have nothing to say about it. D. Bradley Baker is definitely in it. I can hear his voice.
That's it. I'm doomed.
Now, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, hi, Uncle Pickle.
The Uncle Fetus in the Pickle Jar is an interesting choice, but I don't care about the characters. None of the jokes are funny, it's not that good looking, and it's not that enjoyable to watch. I'm glad this one got trashed. Don't bother. Next, Joey to the World. Now this one's pretty different because it's explicitly made to be a more adult cartoon. Like, really adult. This one is about a pathetic man-child loser kangaroo named Joey celebrating his 35th birthday still living in his mom's house.
I'm 35 years old. In kangaroo years, that's like somewhere between 34 and 36. You gotta stop babying me. Up, up, up.
Joey's voice may sound familiar to you. And if it does, that's because it's Doug Lawrence, the voice of Plankton on SpongeBob. Since it's Joey's 35th birthday, he finally decides to leave home, to head into the real world, outside, and become a man, even though he's a complete idiot. Now the thing that's so weird about this short is that it rides a fine line between being too childish for Adult Swim, but too adult for Cartoon Network. But that's what makes it stand out. And there's a really unnecessary laugh track the entire time.
Ever since your testicle descended, you've become increasingly indignant.
Eventually, Joey makes it all the way to the wilderness, where he stumbles upon a bus that's a pretty unsubtle reference to the story of Christopher McCandless, a man who died of starvation in a bus hiking the Alaskan wilderness in the 90s. And as of 2020, that bus is no longer there, having been removed by the Alaskan government. The book Into the Wild was based on this real life event, and was eventually turned into a movie. And while I haven't seen the movie or read the book, I heard that they were both good, and I'll probably end up checking out the movie one day. Okay, back on topic. Joey to the World was created by Craig Kelman, a character designer who's done some really excellent stuff, such as the 5th season of Samurai Jack, and Sony's animated films like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Though I do need to mention how weird the ending is, to the point where I don't even want to spoil it. It was something different at least, and if you're curious, check it out. 3 Dog Band. Now this one's actually pretty freaking good. Like the title implies, it's about 3 dogs in a band who live together. No deep lore, no tragic backstories or anything. That's just the way it is. That's the way it should be. I couldn't really catch their names, but they're all designed around encompassing 3 different musical genres from 3 different decades: 70s disco, 80s Euro electronic, and 90s hip hop. They're broke, struggling artists. People don't really like them. They get into trouble easily, and they're just seen as 3 weirdos in a generally normal world, which can always be entertaining if the characters are likable enough, which I think they are.
We're loaded up and ready to roll. There will be no rolling.
I guess I should've got an oil change.
I guess you could call them the underdogs of the story. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. When they make it to the club they get hired at before Matt, craziness happens, including theft and getting twerked on to death, until they finally bring it on home and play a song that gets everyone moving and grooving. 3 Dog Band was created by Paul Rudish, another member of the Cartoon Network A-Team who did design work and animation direction for 2 Stupid Dogs, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Star Wars Clone Wars, Symbiotic Titan. So basically almost everything Genndy Tartakovsky's done. And he's currently making those Mickey Mouse shorts at Walt Disney Animation. Cartoons don't really look like this anymore, which kind of makes 3 Dog Band and the Cartoonstitute to an extent the last of its kind as far as cartoons with visuals like these go, as in the last of the UPA inspired late 90s look Cartoon Network cartoons had. And it really drives home just how low effort and lazy stuff like the Powerpuff Girls reboot that nobody asked for really are. Okay, back on topic. The only voices I could pick out were Phil Lamar and John DiMaggio.
You're late. Get your junk on stage. Set up. Start playing. Keep it bumping. Keep 'em grooving. Don't you skip a beat and don't you drop the ball, and especially do not give me no lip.
And speaking of voices, that song. What about that song? The song they play at the end. Personally, I think it sounds great. And thankfully there's no sound effects or anything playing over it, so you can just rip it from the video if you wanted to. But again, since the Cartoonstitute shorts have 0 credits, we have no idea who wrote the song, who performed it, or even what it's called. I did some research and found some information that I believe hasn't been uncovered before, or at least never mentioned anywhere before. 3 Dog Band was one of the first Cartoonstitute shorts to be officially posted online on July 29th, 2009. It was uploaded to Vimeo by a channel called Easy Feel. Now, Easy Feel, as it turns out, is a Los Angeles-based music production company specializing in music for television and television commercials. So with this information, we can basically confirm that the song was produced at Easy Feel Studio. Even then, even going through the Wayback Machine all the way to find the 3 Dog Band section on the website, there are still no credits. For all I know, the song could have been written by somebody at Cartoon Network who worked on the short. It's happened before. I tried getting in contact with Easy Feel through email, but received no response. Even though it's been over 10 years, part of me feels like it's just written on a piece of paper somewhere. Until then, there's nothing. I've been able to uncover some background art from the short, but I'd kill to see some character model sheets too. Randomly enough, I was watching a video by a guy named L Supersonic Q about Dexter's rude removal. He played a clip showing Genndy Tartakovsky during his time at Cartoon Network, like his work desk. It's a drawing of Three Dog Band. Was Gendy involved with this in some way too? Gendy and Paul worked together on Gendy's shows for years, so maybe he was in some way. Unfortunately, I doubt I'll be able to contact Paul Rudish and ask him about it. And that's about it for Three Dog Band. It has that old school Cartoon Network feel that's sorely missing from the channel nowadays. I wish it became a show, since I think I would have loved it growing up. And this is Lador, a part door, part man freak of nature whose door acts as a magical portal opening up into far-off lands, other dimensions, and strange new places. It is what it is. He is the self-proclaimed greatest interdimensional explorer there is, and he's very French.
Comprenez-vous? You have bad breath.
And this is Frank, his kid's sidekick, who should be impressed or horrified by everything he's seeing, with the knowledge that there's a bigger universe than he's ever imagined that he can travel to whenever he wants, but he's mostly just annoyed the entire time. Though the circumstances around how he met Lador are kind of sketchy. Turns out the greatest interdimensional explorer ever is kind of a washed up loser.
Who are you?
I am Lador.
What?
Lador, dummy!
Sorry, dude, I don't see any doors here.
But it doesn't matter now because Lador, along with his new sidekick, are going to explore places unknown and become the greatest interdimensional explorers ever. I remember liking Lador a good amount when I first saw it, and after a few rewatches for this video, I still do. It's another one of those shows where I think I would have watched it back in 2009 if it got greenlit. Apparently, Lador as a character is supposed to be a parody of Doraemon, the main character from the long-running and extremely popular Japanese anime and manga series.
Lador himself is a very fun character, and helps make the short as enjoyable to watch as it is.
There were also way more risque jokes in the short than I remember.
Don't you worry, Francois. I will show you my jewels another time. Monsieur, madame.
Please, your hot air is fucking me up, Lador.
Wait, what?
Your hot air is fucking me up, Lador.
Okay, I know what he's supposed to be saying there, but the voice actor is clearly saying something else. Lador was the work of animation director and animator Matt Danner. Matt Danner got his start at Spumco, yeah, and then later moved on to work on shows like Dan vs. on the Hub, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and Johnny Test. I discovered in my failed attempt to contact Matt Danner on Twitter this post from him about Lador, the only post about Lador from him, and it revealed that the voice actor for Lador himself was a man named Rene Auberjonois, an actor who's had a ton of live action and voiceover roles, who unfortunately passed away on December 8th, 2019. It sucks that the guy had to die for us to find out this information, but at least we know now. Overall, another enjoyable one that sadly didn't get picked up. And here we are, the last short that I have. Not the last one that was made, but the last one that I could find. Yes, that's actually the title. Yes. So yes is definitely something different.
Dreaming of hot dogs. That's right. Dreaming. Hot dogs.
The world sucks, but there's a merman who sees this and wants to help people accomplish their dreams, with the help of a redneck family, all to make the world a better place.
When you're young, everyone has a dream until someone else says no! Hence destroying your dreams and making you sad. Some transcend and achieve all their hopes and desires, but very few. I can't. So, I've come all the way from Metropolis to enlist you guys to come with me and say yes to people's dreams.
You would think that with a premise like that, this would be the craziest short of them all, but it's not. It's pretty low-key and relaxed compared to the other shorts, which is good. And the art style is nice too. Not too memorable, but not too bad either. Though again, I'm not sure how long this would have gone on before getting cancelled. This short was created by another storyboard artist named David Smith. I can't find much else about him or the short other than that. So yeah, I think yes is pretty decent. Watch it, there's an emo robot.
I must truly be emo ho ho ho. Emo ho ho ho. Thank you. You have made me sad.
And those are all the Cartoonstitute shorts that I have. Now there were 14 Cartoonstitute shorts produced, but more were planned. According to Craig McCracken, at least 39 7-minute shorts were going to be made before it all fell apart. In a DeviantArt post, he said, quote, "The reason we only produced 14 out of 39 shorts, remember that thing that happened to the economy? Lots of people losing their money and funding? Well, it happens to TV networks too. Simple as that." Now you may be saying, Zero Night, you only talked about 12, and you're right. The next two I'm going to talk about are by far the most well-known shorts that managed to find life outside of the Cartoonstitute, eventually getting greenlit. And those two shorts are Regular Show and Uncle Grandpa. I'm not going to spend too much time on these pilots considering that they got picked up and therefore there's no real what-if questions to ask about them, but that doesn't mean that I can't talk about them or the history behind them either. First up, Regular Show. It feels really strange talking about these shows as if nobody's seen them before, unless you're talking about Uncle Grandpa, which honestly I have no idea how many people actually watch that one. So if you've been living under a rock for the past decade, Regular Show is ironically not that regular.
Oh my, I've never seen anyone eat cereal like that. How quaint.
It's about a blue jay named Mordecai and a raccoon named Rigby that work at a park. They're huge slackers who clearly don't do drugs and drink soda. Their first day on the job starts out pretty normal until they want this crappy couch.
Dude, it sounds like old man pants.
And then things get weird. The Regular Show was created by J.G. Quintel, a Cal Arts graduate who started out at Cartoon Network doing work on The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack and Camp Lazlo before creating Regular Show. Now, Regular Show is based on 2 shorts Quintel created in college called 2 in the AM PM and The Naive Man from Lollyland, and if you watch both shorts, you'll see characters that would end up being modified and used in the series. Something else to note is that the original Cartoonstitute version of the Regular Show short is completely lost. There are multiple copies on YouTube, but they were all eventually taken down.
We're throwing it away.
Ah,
And
what?
it's no longer available, but you can still watch it. What do I mean by that exactly? Well, the 25th episode of Season 2 of Regular Show, titled First Day, is an extended version of the pilot. The pilot of Regular Show has a few differences from the final series. For one, Mordecai was slightly redesigned for the final show, and his design in the First Day episode is unchanged from the pilot. Regular Show, the show, premiered on September 6th, 2010. Oh my god, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years until its final episode released on January 16th, 2017. I love Regular Show. I always have, and while it wasn't perfect, did we really need all that relationship stuff? I still really enjoyed it whenever I could catch it on TV or even now watching it online, because who still watches TV? And it felt like they could get away with a lot more stuff back then.
No, don't.
It's too late.
Come on, dude, don't.
It's already in motion.
Well, put it out of motion.
You pissed me off.
And it got weird. Like, do drugs LMAO weird. That sort of humor managed to attract a wider audience and made the show a huge success, which is what CNN wanted until they decided to go in the exact opposite direction in order to appeal to preschoolers instead. Anyways, I think that's why people have such a fondness for Regular Show, even today. The vibe in general was just different. It was from a different time when Cartoon Network was trying to create a new voice for itself, and that's what stuck with people in the end. Finally, the last of the shorts that was produced, we have Uncle Grandpa. Yup. Uncle Grandpa. Now, there are 2 important things to know about this pilot. Firstly, it was a pilot for 2 shows, Uncle Grandpa the Show and another show called Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. Yeah, remember that one? It was not good, and it did not last long. Second, the pilot, not unlike the Regular Show pilot, is lost. And since this one didn't have any reused footage as an actual episode, it's impossible to find. I tried way too hard to find this short, but I just haven't been able to. If you can find it, leave a comment below and let me know. It's about a guy with cosmic level god powers who's everyone's uncle and everyone's grandpa at the same time.
I like trains!
Something that is really suspect to me for obvious reasons. Most episodes involve him and his friends helping his niece, nephew, grandchildren in their daily lives and going on adventures. The plot of the short was, Uncle Grandpa accidentally destroys Ham Sandwich's computer, then tries to make a supercomputer for him, but makes Mutant Maker by mistake. The mutants, I assume, are the ones from Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. Uncle Grandpa was created by Pete Braungart. He previously worked as a writer on Chowder and wrote for Adventure Time as well. I vaguely remember seeing the pilot years ago, but it and the show itself just never appealed to me at all. I do remember people absolutely hating it though, almost to a ridiculous level. Not as much as Teen Titans Go, but it was still pretty disliked. But I do actually remember disliking Secret Mountain Fort Awesome and being completely miffed that Robotomy and Symbiotic Titan got cancelled while it got to go on. Until it got cancelled too. Is Uncle Grandpa really that bad? Well, I watched the first episode again, and it's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not completely horrendous. It's just a bunch of wacky, surrealist comedy. The point is, the show isn't offensive to watch. Not that I really want to, and there are much better things to watch, but if you like it, that's fine. Surprisingly, Uncle Grandpa did well enough to have a 4-year run of 5 seasons with 153 episodes, lasting from September 2013 to June 2017. It even had a crossover with Steven Universe. No, I'm not kidding. In conclusion, Uncle Grandpa exists. You know, honestly, I'm not sure why out of all the shorts, Regular Show and Uncle Grandpa got picked up to make it a series, regardless of me liking them or not. How were they greenlit exactly? There were some solid shows in the entire program. Maybe it was creator availability or something, who knows. So I talked about every short that was produced.
But there are at least 5 more unproduced shorts that were planned as well. For whatever reason, they were pitched but were rejected and did not make to the production phase. Dynamite Jones is one of these shorts. This one was about a character named Dynamite Jones, an aged and elderly homage to the Marvel character Luke Cage, and his attempts to get back into crime fighting with his son. This concept was created by Andy Suriano, a character designer and graphic artist who has a small but impressive catalog of work on action cartoons like the Plastic Man shorts for DC, and more recently Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Is that show any good? Anyways, Dynamite Jones was originally pitched to BET where nothing came of it. He then decided to create a new storyboard and pitch it to the Cartoon Network for the Cartoonstitute, where, according to Suriano himself, it was a complete disaster. Quote, "I bombed. Bad. Inherent initial story issues aside, their decision to pass was completely justified. About a quarter of the way into the pitch, I could feel the energy drain and I knew I was way off the mark comedy-wise. The worst part about finding yourself in that position is knowing you have at least 3/4 more to go. That's when the sweats start." Ha. Regardless, I had a blast getting to explore Dynamite's world further than before. He said the main problem with the concept is that it became a superhero parody, which is something that we've all seen before, and nothing like what it was originally supposed to be. I can say that even though the pitch didn't do well, I at least like how it looks from the concept art. Soriano's drawings are very bold and dynamic, and he has the ability to go from more serious comic book fare to more cartoonish stuff easily. Apart from Dynamite Jones, the other shorts only exist as a few pieces of concept art or storyboards, and there could be more that we don't know about. These include When Nature Calls by an animator named Mike Milo, which looked like if SpongeBob were a tree, Thundermans by Steven DeStefano. The only piece of this short that still exists online are some cleaned up background effects, the type of which would be used in a finished short, meaning that this could have made it all the way to the animation phase, technically making it lost media if it was. There's also a short called The Sloppy Seconds by a guy named Greg Araya. Storyboards were pitched but they have never seen the light of day, and according to Araya's blogspot, it was passed on but not completely rejected until it was rejected. At least we have a picture of the storyboards. I actually tried getting in contact with Araya, but surprise surprise, no answer. And there's also a pitch called The Super Crazies, which has no information about it online at all. And believe it or not, the Disney show Star vs. the Forces of Evil was apparently at one point a part of the Cartoonstitute. The show premiered on January 18th, 2015. The show, about a magical princess's adventures after being dropped off on our world, had 4 seasons and was created by Darren Nefsey, who pitched the show to Cartoon Network in her 3rd year of college, basing it on her obsession with the anime Sailor Moon growing up. It was rejected and the Cartoonstitute was shuttered, which allowed her to pitch it to Disney. I've seen a pretty good amount of Star Vs up to around season 2 or so, and from what I've seen, I enjoyed it. The characters were fun, I liked the fast-paced humor, the world building, and I was interested in where it was gonna go. But I admit that I dropped the show due to outside things in my life. Which is weird because I just said that I was interested in where it was gonna go. It didn't help that the last season, from what I heard, really went into a downward spiral that it never recovered from. And that's about it. God, what was that? Like 14 shorts plus 5 unproduced ones and another one that became a show for another network? Almost 19 cartoons. And they wanted more. Until they didn't. So, in conclusion, the failure of the Cartoonstitute was due to many factors, including the economic recession, and affairs internally at Cartoon Network being an absolute mess from the top down on the production and program development side, which interestingly enough, they still are. A victim of bad timing and executive incompetence. Though with regular show and Uncle Grandpa being made in a full series, there was some return on investment, and it wasn't a complete loss. Apart from the shorts that I think should have gotten picked up, which are 3 Dog Band, Lador, Stockboys of the Apocalypse, Danger Planet, Baloobaloob I guess, and that one that I can't remember the name of. Some of the shorts were good, some of them are bad, and some were just okay. That's just bound to happen if you take a risk on something new. You can see the potential was there. The concept of a program dedicated to gathering talent to create new cartoons with little to no interference, and therefore the most artistic and creative freedom possible, was a great one. It doesn't always work, but it could have potentially given us some great stuff. I guess putting the shorts on their website was good enough, though it doesn't excuse how poorly people working at Cartoon Network were treated at the time. While most of these shorts remain obscure, they're still a part of Cartoon Network's history, and again they're worth checking out, if only just to wonder what could have been. I also want to give a special thanks to Jack's Cheese for the excellent music that I've been using throughout this entire video. Check out his music, check out his Bandcamp, I'm gonna link it all in the description below. I love his stuff, so go check it out. I'm Zero Knight, thanks for watching. Why is Cartoonstitute so hard to say? Like Cartoonstitute, it's just ridiculous.